children, we have come here to discuss the life science for class 9, chapter Physiological Process of Life, part respiration, where we had already discussed about the respiration and come to discuss today for the site for respiration. That means where does the respiration occur? That is the site for respiration. Here you see that two main phases are there in the respiration. One is glycolysis and another one is Krebs cycle. The glycolysis is a process which is actually happening inside the cytoplasm of the cell. Inside the cytoplasm of the cell. So glycolysis is a process, it is happening in the cytoplasm of the cell. It's a general process occurs in the cytoplasm of the living cells, obviously living cells. And second phase is Krebs cycle that we are going to do in the next, just coming next day. Now, glycolysis is a very common phase. It's a common phase. What is happening here? Actually, there are two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic. Now here, the glucose breaks to two molecules of pyruvic acid in case of both aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Now I tell you what is aerobic respiration. In simple language, the respiration in presence of air. Now in air, there are many gases are there. You know, there are many gases are there. Hydrogen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, then all the noble gases, all those are there. So, in presence of air, that will be concluded as in presence of oxygen, because oxygen is the gas which is required for the respiration, because it gets inside the body and the food is oxidized, and that oxidized food or glucose goes to the different cells where it is broken down into energy, right? So here the in aerobic respiration that happens in presence of the air or oxygen. In anaerobic respiration, it happens in absence of air. Air means oxygen. I told you air has many types of gases are there. It is a mixture, homogeneous mixture of gases. But here we need for the respiration is only oxygen. Right now, the time of respiration that is to be noted. What is time for respiration? You know, right from the dawn to next dawn. That means the respiration is a process which continues right from the birth to death. That means from when the organism has taken birth and from then when the organism has already continued the life up till the end or the last day. That is why it is said that if a gentleman or somebody dies, it says he breathes last. That means last respiratory system process was done at that time. Like that, respiration is a continuous process, or life it goes. So here the time of respiration, it is throughout the day and night. So what is the time of the respiration? Throughout the day and night. Because the respiration never stops. Now you can tell me that if the respiration doesn't stop and if the plants especially they take the oxygen or the gases from by the stomata of the leaves, then what happens while during the daytime? Now during the daytime the photosynthesis goes on. And as the photosynthesis goes on, the leaves are very much busy to take the carbon dioxide, because that is one of the requirement of the photosynthesis. And then during the process of photosynthesis, it is very difficult for the plant to take oxygen through the stomata. And what happens, you know, the respiration, I told you, it goes on, otherwise the plant would have been died. Then in that case, what is happening? There are several openings through which the gas sections is the lenticel. Lenticel is present on the bud of the bark and the stem, old stem and bark, they get the lenticel. Through the lenticel, the respiration is done. So respiration goes throughout the day and night. That is the type of the respiration. Now, as I told you, two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic. First, in aerobic respiration. What is happening in aerobic respiration? Food is completely oxidized. Food is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water and some molecules of energy, chemical energy, which is chemical energy. Obviously in the form of the ATP, and that comes out. So carbon dioxide, water and chemical energy. Now, what is the mechanism of glycolysis? Glycolysis is a common process. And what is the mechanism of that? The glycolysis actually, number one, that goes through, it was observed by and it is named as EMP pathway. The three scientists named, the first word of the three scientists named is known as the EMP pathway. That is, here is by three scientists. The first 5 steps, building up phase, is known as building up phase. First 5 phase is known as building up phase. And in the building up phase, glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, and from there fructose 6-phosphate, and from fructose 1,6-diphosphate, and that is utilizes to 2 ATP molecules. You know ATP molecules are the energy molecules. Those are known as the adenosine triphosphate molecules. So what is happening? Once again I say you that the process is known as EMP pathway by the name of the 3 scientists, those who have observed it by their name. It is EMP pathway by the 3 scientists, and there are steps are involved there. Total 10 steps are there. Out of 10 steps, first 5 steps is building up phase, and the last 5 steps is known as the payoff phase. So building up phase and payoff phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 building up phase, and then last 5 is known as payoff phase. So in first 5, what is happening? Happening is the glucose to glucose phosphate 6-phosphate that is prepared, and then fructose 6-phosphate is prepared, and this fructose 1,6-diphosphate utilizing 2 ATP molecules. So 2 ATP molecules they convert and they just go on doing that. And the second, the fructose 1,6-diphosphate converts to glyceraldehyde. What is that? Glyceraldehyde. And this glyceraldehyde is of 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. So dihydroxyacetone phosphate is formed. The last 5 steps forms 2 molecules of the last 5 steps produces 2 molecules of diphosphoglyceric acid. Diphosphoglyceric acid, and finally to pyruvic acid, and generates 10 ATP molecules. Generates 10 ATP molecules. What molecules? Generates 10 ATP molecules, of which 2 are utilized. 2 are utilized for the reaction, and so on. 10 is produced, 2 is utilized. So whatever it is less. The 10 is produced, 2 is utilized. So there is a net gain of 8 ATP molecules. There is a net gain of 8 molecules. 8 ATP molecules are there. Well, this is glycolysis, and so what we have come to know, once again I say that it is followed by the EMP pathway, and then it comes after the name of the 3 scientists there. And the first 5 step is known as the building phase, and the second 5 step, which are known as the payoff phase. In first 5 step, what is happening? The glucose forms to glucose 6-phosphate, fructose to 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-diphosphate utilizes 2 ATP molecules, and then fructose 1,6-diphosphate converts to glyceraldehyde, 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And the last 5 steps forms two molecules of diphosphoglyceric acid and finally 2 pyruvic acid and generates 10 ATP molecules. And of the 10 ATP molecules, 2 are used for the purpose, and so there is a gain of 10 minus 2, 8 ATP molecules. There is a gain of 10 ATP molecules. Well, now we go to the Krebs cycle. So, another scientist called Hans Krebs, who has observed this, and this is the Krebs cycle. Here the 2 molecules of pyruvic acid form from one molecule of glucose during the glycolysis. Are converted to molecules of acetyl-CoA. Well done. And then the later enters the mitochondria and initiates Krebs cycle. So it is one is used to form that converts 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA and then later on enters into the mitochondria. And I told you that the Krebs cycle occurs in mitochondria, and the mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cell, because the function of it is to convert that is to produce energy, to store energy and utilize the energy. And then mitochondria, the pyruvic acid is completely oxidized to form carbon dioxide, water and ATP. That is done in Krebs cycle. So here we are saying the later on enters into the Krebs cycle. The first acid form is citric acid. What is known as citric acid? And then contains 3 carboxylic groups of, that is dash COOH, and then TCA, tricarboxylic acid, and citric acid, cis aconitic acid, isocitric acid, and alpha ketogluteric acid, succinyl CoA, succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, and oxaloacetic acid. Children, you know where the malic acid is found? Each and every one you or most of you like the apples. So malic acid is found in apples. And if it generates the 24 ATP molecules by accepting 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA, and that is the Krebs cycle. Well, after the Krebs cycle, whatever we have got, the chemical reactions of the respiration occurs as follows. See, C6H12O6 is the glucose molecule along with the 6 oxygen molecules in presence of the oxygen is converted into 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules and 686 kilocalorie of the energy that has been produced and in the aerobic respiration, which was followed up in the Krebs cycle, glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Now we come to anaerobic respiration. What is the definition of anaerobic respiration? Now, anaerobic respiration. The aerobic respiration is that respiration where air, that means oxygen, is required. Here in anaerobic respiration, that is the air is not required. That means in absence of the air, that means in absence of the oxygen, that is that. How is that? The definition, the respiration which is done without air, without the help of oxygen, is known as anaerobic respiration. How? Yes. The site for this respiration. Now, where does this respiration occur? Number 1, in higher animals, in anaerobic bacteria, in methane bacteria, in sulfur bacteria, and also in some other organisms. So, site for anaerobic respiration, higher animals, we are also higher animals. Okay, the anaerobic bacteria, some bacteria which are absolutely anaerobic, so they respire without the help of the oxygen. Well, methane bacteria, you know the methane gas is produced and there it is produced, is converted from the various marshy places and they indicate things there. The methane bacteria is there and they respire without the help of the oxygen. Well, the sulfur bacteria, there is sulfur bacteria also, and that also is respired without the help of the oxygen or air. So these are the organisms that they do the anaerobic respiration, and the site is in their body. During anaerobic respiration, only glycolysis takes place. Only glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. No Krebs cycle is there. So no Krebs cycle is there. So Krebs cycle does not follow. In anaerobic respiration, the respiration is only by means of the glycolysis, no Krebs cycle. No Krebs cycle is followed. Well, now the chemical reactions are as follows. In higher plant cells, what happens? The glucose, in presence of two inorganic phosphate and two molecules of ATP, that means the adenosine diphosphate, in presence of the enzyme, is converted to CH-3, CH2OH. That means ethyl alcohol. That is, they are also producing two carbon dioxide molecules and two ATP molecules, adenosine triphosphate energy molecules, and they are also producing two molecules of water. So I repeat again, in higher plant cells, glucose in presence of two inorganic phosphate forms two adenosine in presence of two adenosine diphosphate and triphosphate, and the enzyme is forming ethyl alcohol, that is CH3, CH2OH plus carbon dioxide plus two molecules of ATP adenosine triphosphate energy and plus two molecules of water. That has been made. The secondly, in anaerobic bacteria, how the anaerobic respiration takes place. This is the reaction. Here also the glucose molecules are converted. Here also glucose molecules are converted with the help of the 12 nitrate radicals in presence of the enzyme, forming 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 water molecules, and from the nitrate it is converted to 12 nitrite molecules. So nitrate to nitrite molecules and 35 to 50 kilocalorie of energy. They are producing 35 to 50 kilocalorie of energy. 35 to 50 kilocalorie of energy. Well, so I repeat again, anaerobic bacteria where the glucose in presence of 12 molecules of nitrate and in presence of the enzyme, they are converting to 6 carbon dioxide molecules, 6 water molecules, 12 nitrite molecules, and 35 to 50 kilocalorie of energy. That is for anaerobic bacteria. Well, we are coming to the next one, cells of higher animals. How cells of higher animals are having the anaerobic respiration. Here also, CH12O6 is the glucose in presence of two inorganic phosphate plus two ADP adenosine diphosphate molecules. The help of the enzyme is converted to lactic acid, CH3, CH-OH, COOH. That is lactic acid and lactic acid plus 2 ATP. That means adenosine triphosphate molecules and plus 2 water. Once again I repeat it. So in cells of higher animals, the glucose in presence of the two inorganic phosphate molecules and in presence of the two adenosine diphosphate energy molecules with the help of the enzymes forming two lactic acid molecules, that is CH3, CHO, HCOOH the formula is of the lactic acid plus 2 ATP molecules and some triphosphate molecules of energy plus 2 molecules of water. This is the aerobic respiration in all, and the respiration, that is how do the aerobic respiration take place. Well, there is a lot of significance of the respiration. So before I go to the points, I must say that respiration is a catabolic process. Now, my dear children, the whole body of an organism is run by the metabolic activity, and all this metabolic activity are divided into catabolic activity and anabolic activity. Catabolic means destructive activity, anabolic means constructive activity. So constructive activity like development, growth. Catabolic activity is like respiration is one, that means wasting energy. Anabolic process, that means utilizing the energy for the benefit. So from this we have come to know the respiration is a catabolic process. So if the respiration is a catabolic process, why is the respiration so important? So there may be a question, though catabolic process, why is respiration a very important process or the most important process in the living organisms? The answer is, it is so because though the respiration is a catabolic process and it breaks and wastes the energy, but the outcome of the energy, that means the production of the energy by respiration, is much more than that it has already been utilized. So it is a gain, process of gain of energy, and that gain is not only for the simple one. That produced energy is so much that all the other metabolic activity is run by that. That is why, though respiration is a catabolic process, yet it is the most important process in the living organisms. Well, now we come for the significance of the respiration. First thing is that the energy is produced in the body and is kept in the form of ATP, stored in the form of ATP. ATP is the energy coins. The ATP is stored because the mitochondria produces energy, stores energy, and it releases energy when it is required. Now, so it is keeping in the form of ATP. But the ATP cannot be used. Then what is the use? When it is used, the ATP is converted to ADP. That means adenosine triphosphate to adenosine diphosphate. When it is converted to ADP, so it is very easily usable. And the organisms use the converted ATP to ADP. And after the use, suppose you got a currency note or a note of 10 rupees, you have gone to the market to purchase something. What will happen? You spend the money, but whatever the changes will come, that will be remaining in the changes. But in ATP and ADP system, what is happening, you know, that it is how much it is spent. After that, whatever it is left, it will be again converted to ADP and ATP and restored. So that is a special occasion that during the use it is converted to ADP, but whatever the ADP is saved, that is again restored as ATP. So after that, all energy derived from respiration, whatever the energy is there for every organism, it is derived, it is taken, prepared from the respiration. Next is the glow and the sea animals, whatever it is, they create the light or energy they take from the respiration. The huge electric ray or some very electric shock giving sea animals, they also produce and take their energy from the respiration. Well, the next one is that the respiration produces calorie, which needs for human and the other to continue their work. So these are the significance of respiration. Now, maintenance of the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in the nature is done by the respiration. Now you see, the surface of the earth is having a lot of diversity of plants and animals, and plants are many in number than that of the animals. So what? The green plants, they are producing the food by means of the photosynthesis, and while they are doing photosynthesis, they are using the carbon dioxide from the air, and we the animals, we are releasing the oxygen by means of our respiration, while the plants, they are releasing oxygen as byproduct. And then what is happening? So if it was not done in that way, that animals produce carbon dioxide, plants take it for photosynthesis, and plants produce oxygen, we are taking for our respiration. So there is a cycle for that. And for this oxygen and carbon dioxide cycle, the maintenance of the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in nature is there. So this is all about the respiration, and waiting to see you for the next class in nutrition. Thank you and have a good day.